lot of the government agencies, because I used to work for the EPA, so I kind of know they're going to select the lowest bidder unless they can justify why they're selecting someone with a higher bid.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to SALESBIZ. I appreciate everyone taking the time. Before we get started, folks, you know the drill. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like this specific episode. If you have any feedback at all, drop some comments for us down below. Today, my guest is from Southern California. This man is an environmentalist. My first environmentalist on the show. I'm super excited to have him share his knowledge. He is one of the co-founders and the lead lab director of AETL, American Environmentalist Testing Laboratory. And I'm super excited to have him. Full transparency, is also a good family friend. So go easy on him, folks. Mr. Joe Severan, welcome, sir.
Thank you, Michael.
Appreciate you taking the time, Joe. So let's kick it off. Let's talk a little bit before we go into the actual company where you're at and how things are coming. Let's kick it off with your past, Joe. How did you get into the environmentalist space?
Well, it was a long time ago. And way back in the 1990, actually. And I was a chemist out of school, and I had a buddy that was starting up an environmental business, and he was in the laboratory at the time, and so he gave me a call, and we started this lab, more or less. So we got the equipment on $60,000 of leased equipment, and we had no clients, but I went out and started hitting the pavement and started bringing them in, and came up with a little unique offering in our business. More or less, I had a little ping pong table, and I would bring it out to the site and with one of my pieces of equipment, and I was screening samples in the field for the clients. And it was something that no one was really doing, so they loved it. And so they started using our lab because of that, more or less. And within a year, we were able to move from a small little office to a big laboratory, and we started growing from there.
You should have just called it ping pong lab and really had some fun with it.
Yeah. But yeah, it was one of those little green ping pong tables as my table out in the field that I could carry from my car to the field. It's pretty funny.
So I hope this doesn't offend you, but I'm going to say it anyway. You know, kids, usually like playing in the mud, the dirt. How did you develop a passion for something like that all the way into adulthood? It's core sampling. That's very unique. Tell us a little bit more about that.
I've always had a fascination for geology and rocks and playing in the mud, and the fun thing about this one was the mud that I was getting, I was able to sample and make money out of it. So the mud turned into gold after a while. So it was not real gold, but it turned into the green cash that sustained this business for the last 30 years.
So you're that guy we all talk about in the sales world, the guy that could turn mud into gold. Nice to finally meet you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a fun journey. I mean, a lot of times we could go to sites, and I would be able to sniff out where the contamination was, so we could sample it and remove it and make the site acceptable again and environmentally safe. But in the process of that, we were making money doing it.
Amazing. Now, is there some sort of schooling that you have to go through, or some sort of permit or license, I guess? Do you have to practice what you do, or can you just kind of dive into it?
Yeah, more or less. You more or less have to in the lab biz, you more or less have to have a chemistry degree or some type of chemistry technician degree or an environmental degree, some type of environmental background or chemistry background to get involved in the environmental world. That will help you. If you're not, it's going to be very difficult to do. I mean, there are people that have done it, but to help you, it would probably be best to have some type of environmental or chemistry degree.
Got it. So when you started this business, Joe, and obviously you've branched off into numerous divisions, but tell us a little bit about the target market and overall sales cycle type. What does that look like in this specific industry?
Yeah, there's different target markets, which makes it very interesting. Because a lot of things happen in the world and in your immediate environment where you can actually use the environmental industry to capture that market. For example, there's like wastewater, there's drinking water, soil, there's air sampling. And then now that there's all these fires in California, the fires create a lot of damage to the properties, as well as leaving all the ash and all the contamination behind. So that all has to be cleaned up. You've got air monitoring while they're cleaning it up. And then you also have the samples that they're disposing of as the waste, as well as proving that they removed it all. So there's a lot of different things now, also with the plastics that have just come to fruition as far as being contamination in almost in every human body in the world. People are eating plastic, and it's creating some type of exposing people to health conditions that they haven't experienced before. And so there's tests that we can test to see how much plastic is in the soil and in the water. And it's beneficial to environmental laboratory, finding different things to explore and to test to find out more about it.
Gotcha. So sales cycle wise, let's say I'm a government entity or maybe even, a nonprofit looking to get some core sampling done. What does the process usually look like?
Yeah, so there's government entities, or actually we have a lot of clients that are government entities, and they're the best clients to pursue, just for the fact that that you'll get paid.
Really? Is that the case?
Yeah.
Is that really the case?
Usually.
Because I have my thoughts on that one as well, Joe, but we'll leave that for another time.
But as far as our experience so far, that's been the case. But there are the nonprofits that actually call you and ask for guidance and ask for a big discount to help them. I have no problem helping out the nonprofits and seeing their success as well, because if they're successful, somehow we're successful as well. So yeah, all different factors. Even the environmental consultants are a big business for us, as well as different school districts. We're testing all their water for lead. A lot of the ports and public work agencies, all sorts of different government agencies will be involved with some type of environmental issues that will need sampling.
What does the procurement process though look like? Because I know I've done some government contracts myself, and The background, the reviews, the RFPs, that could be a pretty tedious process. What does that look like in your specific industry?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the
I'd
same.
imagine.
Yeah. We go through a bidding process, and the bids are, especially government jobs, are huge. The whole package to deliver the package to the bidders, and there's a lot of requirements, and you spend a lot of time, and there's no guarantee that you're going to win it, and it's very cost sensitive, so you're not going to make a lot of money, but you're hoping on the fact that you're going to make money in the long run by doing a volume.
Yeah.
So a lot of the government agencies, because I used to work for the EPA, so I kind of know they're going to select the lowest bidder unless they can justify why they're selecting someone with a higher bid. Sometimes they can and get away with it, but usually it's going to be the low bidder. So you have to be able to draw your line in the sand and determine how low you can go and still make money.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just talked about the legal process, the government and nonprofits and all that good stuff. Let's take a little to the dark side. What about the alcohol side of the world, or even funny, the green tobacco? I mean, it's California. We're talking core sampling after all. Any dabbling in that industry, pun intended?
Alcohol, actually, we plan on getting into some food and alcohol in the future. We're going through an accreditation process so we
Nice.
can start testing for the food industry, which includes the microbreweries and
Vineyards, I
alcohol,
imagine.
yeah, and tobacco, cannabis. Um, so that's right around the corner for us. We're getting certified to do that, and I know it's going to open up a lot of doors and increase our revenue dramatically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Now, the government's fortunately printing trillions of dollars, so I'd imagine they're not doing any past notices on your guys' accounts payables. But how has COVID, let's just address a big elephant in the room, how has COVID impacted account payables and overall business ever since its fruition?
Yeah. COVID has definitely impacted us.
I'd
Um,
imagine so.
yeah, it's there's less people out doing sampling, and a lot of projects have gotten delayed. Now, when COVID first hit, it was significant to us because all the companies were working from home. So we could not call accounts payable person in the office to find out where our check was to get paid because no one was in the office anymore. So it took a while to find out where those people were and to contact them, and for the companies actually to develop a system to pay their vendors. So for first couple months of COVID, it was very tough, and it was thankful that the PPP loans did finally help out, and I think it did help out the industry.
Got it. Now, what about in terms of future growth? Has that trumped in any way, shape, or form in terms of growing your business or impacted your targets specifically, or are things still pretty much up to speed?
Um, Growth, actually, we are planning on growing, even in this time of COVID. Yeah, so we're going through a process for accreditation to increase our capacity to do more. But it is very, how would you say, stressful because you're dealing with COVID situation, and the employees working in an environment that is not comfortable to them, as well as dealing with less revenue coming in, and then having big dreams to go after more. So it's very stressful but demanding, and I think there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it will pay off.
Absolutely.
He's got to keep on the track.
Always is. So I've had a bunch of founders, executives go on this podcast, specifically talking about their strategies for attaining funds to keep business afloat. What are some strategies that you've adopted, Joe, within your executive team to say, hey, folks, we still have to keep the lights on, send us something. Any specific thoughts around that?
Yeah. So, I mean, we have to primarily, I know that in the COVID times that you need to, we need to let our clients know that we were doing precautions and taking COVID seriously in the lab, and then also making sure that if they were coming in and dropping off samples, that they would be safe coming into the lab. But we also had to make sure that our employees would be safe. So we had like certain restrictions for wearing the mask and using different, sanitizers and just being more, how would you say,
Cautious of each other's environments.
yeah, more or less. Yeah, cautious and sensitive to each other. And then we put out a memo on the website, as well as letters to our clients, letting them know that our drivers that were picking up the samples were maintaining the COVID restrictions and wearing the mask and the 6-foot distancing. And actually, we were coming up with a strategy. A lot of our couriers go and pick up samples in coolers, and they bring them back. A lot of times the guys, you show up on the site with a cooler, they think you're bringing in some beer, but you're actually just there to pick up their samples. So
hey, it wouldn't hurt, you could bring samples and beer. Why not?
there you go.
It's like your little ping pong niche you had at the start of the business. So
but yeah,
bring a case along, my friend. Just do
there
it.
you go. So yeah, a lot of times we send the coolers with the containers that they're going to collect all the samples with. So primarily, we were coming up with an idea to put in some gloves and some sanitizer and a mask for the client in a little package in the cooler. So that way, showing that we're more sensitive to their health and needs while in the field. And well, I'm thinking that doing things like that just shows that we're more service oriented, and we're just not here just just be another lab. We're going beyond and above to try to generate a relationship as well as get their business.
Yep. Does it make sense to have like a niche industry in this? I mean, like a niche target market in this industry, like being the core lab testing facility that only does cannabis or only does alcohol? Do you feel like that helps or there's a majority of it pretty out there?
Yeah, no, there are certain tests that actually we have a couple tests that my CEO has bought some instruments for me to create a niche. And for example, there's an extraction that takes 18 hours to do, and you don't make very much money on it. And so normally, let's say
the overhead is way expensive.
The overhead is way, yeah. So let's say, for example, there's a test that costs $100 to do, but let's say the client wants to do this special extraction that's added to the test. So it takes 18 hours to do that special extraction. So we were able to go buy an instrument that instead of taking 18 hours, only takes now 2 hours to do. So none of the labs want to do it. So all the other labs that get their samples send them to us, besides getting samples from our clients. So we've got a little niche on that little test right there. And so we were able to increase the cost because no one else wants to do it. And we have kind of a lock on the industry right now in Southern California for it, which is kind of exciting for me.
Any thought about starting to sell that machine and also getting a possible revenue share? I mean, why not establish the partnership? There you go.
There you go. But we were also thinking about, as far as the laboratory business in the environmental world is very cutthroat. And we have clients that have been our clients for the last 30 years. But every time they get a project, they call us up and ask for a bid. And you're like, come on, man, it's the same. I mean, we've been working
Typical
together 30
game.
years. Yeah. So anyway, so we give them the cost and all that. So sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. So I feel bad when we lose because they're giving their samples to another lab. But so I was thinking that there's no other lab that has a rewards program. So I was thinking of starting up some type of rewards program for loyal customers. So they're gonna get, you know, like tickets for their family to Disneyland, or, you know, tickets to a Laker game, or a good bottle of scotch or something like that. You know, if they, you know, spend like $10,000 and $20,000, whatever it is, so they will want to get those points. So they won't want to use another lab. They'll want to keep using us, because once they start getting those points, they'll want to finish it.
It becomes addicting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's addicting. And also,
so rewards programs are good. Have you thought about subscription at all? Just subscribing for a specific thing?
subscription.
Long-term subscriptions works well. I work in the subscription space, and I tell you, it's very lucrative because, you know, it ties people to a specific product and ongoing revenue.
No, that's a
Works
great
well.
idea. We should look into that. That's,
Well, you know where to find me, Joe.
yeah.
I
But
appreciate
yes,
the insight.
it's a great idea.
So, last question for you, Joe. You know, how does a founder scale in this market? What are your best advice for someone that has been owning a business for quite some time, went through an acquisition, and now is going through the worst pandemic ever? What advice would you have for that specific persona?
Just don't give up. Um, I guess the main thing is you know, if you've been around for a long time, then the best thing to do is to share your knowledge. So if you can share your knowledge and take phone calls from clients when they call in and give them advice on how you would sample, or try to help them cut corners somehow and make their sampling or whatever they're doing more beneficial for them. I think it goes a long way. And then also mentoring your team to show them that they need to communicate well as be dedicated to what they're doing, and then enjoy your job and not just come in and get a check. It's life is more to it than that. So yeah, I think just sharing your experiences and helping any way you can, I think goes a long way. And people really respect that, and they come back and want more. And that's how I feel that you can also increase your relationship with your clients.
Absolutely. Well said, my friend. Well, Joe, I really appreciate you taking the time and all the insight. It's been a pleasure talking with you. Continue crushing it out there. I know your industry, just like a lot of other industries, are impacted, but keeping the lights on and doing what you do best. It seems like you know exactly that specific path. So kudos to you, my friend, and please don't forget to stay in touch.
All right, we'll do, Mike. Thanks for everything. You're the
Thank
best.
you. Bye. I appreciate it.